And last week we were really, I guess it was a perfect time to talk about the effect of the stock market and its ups and downs on our investments. And Darren Farwell shared 5 tips so we could sleep at night without fretting. So I hope everyone got a good week's sleep because the market has been going up and down. And I'll say good morning, Darren.
Good morning, Marilyn. It's hard to ignore what's going on in the stock market. Well, more importantly, what's going on out there in the world these days. So today I have some tips about, well, how to avoid getting too stressed out when the stock market actually does go down and your portfolio does, in fact, go down. I mean, this last week was a crystal clear example of why the stock market, at least in the short term, is often compared to a roller coaster. The stock market was up quite nicely in January and the early part of February. Then in the past week, it was straight down the other side, just like one of those wild rides at Wonderland.
We lost our breath.
But I remember those wild rides at Wonderland, and I always ended up at the end quite safe and sound. So something important to remember. Why is this going on right now? What's happening? Well, yes, obviously it's got to do with the coronavirus, but here I thought I'd take a minute before I get to our 5 tips and connect the dots. Let's start at the very top, and this is critically and fundamentally the most important thing. Stocks, the stock market, the value of companies is directly correlated with the actual and forecast company profits. If company profits are going up, if company profits are forecast to go up on the whole, the stock market goes up. If company profits are going down or forecast to go down, then stocks go down. The fear of coronavirus, and in some places in the world, the measure to contain it, that is quarantine, has left literally hundreds of millions of people worldwide staying at home. That means not shopping, not traveling, not eating out, not going to the theater, not going to soccer games, generally not spending. That's slowing economic activity and growth, which in turn lowers corporate profits. Imagine you're a company selling luxury purses in Asia. Well, your business is way down because people aren't going out to shop. So profits are down. Therefore, stock prices are down. In fact, the stock market is down a little more than 10%. But it's not a disaster. As this virus abates, and it will, the stock market will go back up. Nonetheless, and the important thing I want to talk about today, it still feels bad right now. In the meantime, the stomach can churn a little bit, causing worry and stress to set in. But remember the cardinal rule which we talked about last week. Don't sell good quality investments at a bad time. So here's what I've been thinking about this week. 5 tips to try help you avoid getting too stressed out when the stock market in your portfolio actually do go down, as they do time to time. Number 1, it's okay to feel a little bit nervous. It's okay to feel a little bit stressed. It's okay to worry a little bit because, hey, there's a lot going on. But when you worry, also keep in mind that it's not necessary to do something. It's okay to feel worried, talk to others. Just yesterday, Diane phoned in and she said, I'm worried that it's going to be like 2008 and 2009 with the global financial crisis. Well, quite probably not. But at the end of the day, even in 2008 and 2009, Diane's portfolio is substantially higher today than it was then. Things get better. It's okay to worry, but just know that things will get better. Number 2, don't go online. Don't check your portfolio every day when the markets are going down. There's no question, one day to the next, if you check your account and the stock market's down a lot, when you look at your account, it's going to be down. And when you look at your account and it's down, it's going to cause some stress. And it's stress that can lead to bad behaviors like selling at a bad time. This is a good time to not look. Just ignore it and wait for things to get better. Number 3, do look at a long-term stock market chart. I'd suggest maybe going on the internet and just taking a look at a stock market chart of the Toronto Stock Exchange or the S&P 500 for the last 10 years, for the last 15 years, the last 20 years. And what you'll see crystal clear is that all these events end up, in hindsight, just being little blips in a long-term path going higher. So it gives you some perspective when you look at the long term to see how, when you look back, how these events end up being not so significant. Number 4, do look at your old plan. Linda came in earlier in the week, and I was thinking about how to demonstrate, to her that this is something that would pass and get better. And we did that I pulled out a plan that we'd done for her in 2013. In that 2013 plan, we had forecast where she would be with her financial assets at the end of 2019. Well, when we looked at where that was, she was so far ahead of plan that whatever was happening here today was going to have very little impact on her long-term planning. So take a look back at your old plans, which, by the way, you should have. And if you don't, that's a good reason to get one. Look back at your old plan and just check out how far ahead you are of where you thought you would be. And number 5, instead of thinking about how bad things are, or how bad they could get, think a little bit about how you might take advantage of the opportunity. I've had a few people call in and ask me questions like, is this a good time to buy a bank stock? Because after all, some of these bank stock yields are over 6%. So you can own a Canadian bank that's got a charter from the federal government that's paying you a 6% dividend to own their stock. Perhaps it's a time to think about where the opportunities are, just as much as worry about what's going on. So is the coronavirus a serious health concern? Yes. Is the market going down because of it? Yes. But as my grandmother used to say, and remind me from time to time, when things got a little off track, this too will pass.
Well, thank you. I like these last few segments that we've been doing where you give us 5 substantive tips, and I write them down and I can read them later, and they do make my heart go less pitter-pat. And this week I thought it was really appropriate and fortunate that we addressed the fact that the stock market can have a dip and a dive. So thank you for those. Now, if someone wants to talk to you about what's going on and make sense of it, are you going to work today?
It's still cold outside, Marilyn, so I'll be going to the office after the show this morning.
No golf yet for either of us. So I've got your phone number, 416-863-7501. It's the gift of an extra day. It'll be 4 years before you'll have an extra day again. If you want to make use of it and talk about protecting your future and and understanding how to invest and what to do best, maybe get a second opinion and put your mind at ease, then Darren Farwell and the Farwell Group are there for you. The phone number, 416-863-7501. It's never too late to plan for a better outcome, and you have an extra day, so maybe try that. Darren, thank you, and I know Leslie is stepping in next week, so I'll look forward to learning from her, and hopefully she'll bring me some of her books to bank on yourself. Thank you.
You're welcome, Marilyn.